Hi, everyone. I'm Elaine Quijano. It's good to be with you. Thanks for joining us. The U.S. is expressing its support for a ceasefire in the Middle East as Israel and Hamas enter a second week of violence. President Biden says the U.S. is engaging with Egypt and other nations toward putting an end to the fighting, but also reaffirmed his support for Israel's right to defend itself in a call with the country's prime minister Monday. Their conversation comes as Israel fires airstrikes on Gaza. Gaza's health ministry says hundreds of Palestinians have died, including dozens of women and children. Meantime, Hamas continues to fire rockets from Gaza towards civilian areas in Israel. Just under a dozen people have been killed. Imtiaz Tyab is on the ground in Tel Aviv with the latest.
Israel says it's being surgical in its strikes, but driving through the Palestinian territory, and it looks anything but. Major infrastructure and homes reduced to rubble in an instant. As the increasingly bloody conflict with Hamas moves into its second week, the death toll keeps rising. At least 200 Palestinians have been killed, including more than 60 children. In the southern Israeli town of Ashdod, this house took a direct hit from a Hamas rocket. This man says, "It can't continue like this. We want to attack Gaza so that they are left without weapons to launch at us." Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system has intercepted the vast majority of the over 3,000 rockets fired by Hamas, but not all. Since fighting began, 10 Israelis, including 2 children, have been killed. The spark that lit the inferno that is this latest war in Gaza was here, in bitterly contested East Jerusalem, where the looming evictions of Palestinian families continues to provoke fury. Fury which erupted again over the weekend during what Palestinians call Nakba, or Catastrophe Day protests, marking the loss of Palestinian territory in 1948 for the creation of Israel. The looming evictions of 8 Palestinian families by Jewish settlers has only inflamed tensions. Jad Hamed faces expulsion from the house his family has lived in since the 1950s.
This is not the first time and not the second time. It's going to be the third time for us.
Hamas is vowing to rain fire here on Tel Aviv if Israel doesn't stop its bombing of Gaza. Elaine.
Imtiaz Tyab, thank you. Joining me now to talk more about this is Ishaan Tharoor. He's a foreign affairs columnist for The Washington Post. Ishaan, thanks very much for being with us. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will continue to strike targets in Gaza and, quote, operate as long as necessary in order to return calm and security to all Israeli citizens. At what point would Israel feel it's restored calm? And does this mean we could see this conflict carry on for much longer?
Well, the Israelis are indicating, we've heard through various channels, that while they do feel like there's more to be done, they're planning on winding down operations at some point this week. As Imtiaz reported, they have pounded targets over the past week in Gaza. They've attacked Hamas positions in high-rise buildings. They've targeted Hamas's quote-unquote metro, its subterranean tunnel network, and they've really exacted a real degree of damage on Hamas and its capacity to operate. Again, though, this is a cycle we've seen before. A very similar set of circumstances were in play in 2014 before a ceasefire that was negotiated in part with American, but also primarily Egyptian help, brought the sides to a certain degree of truce, and it's hard to tell where things go from here beyond the same tragic cycle we've witnessed in the past.
Well, President Biden spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu Monday. The president again says Israel has a right to defend itself, but is also supporting a ceasefire. What is the U.S.'s role in all of this?
Well, that's an important and somewhat complicated question. Of course, the Biden administration has been criticized both from the right and the left about managing this crisis with a degree of inattention and for not properly being involved to a certain extent. The Biden administration, their officials say that they are quietly and intensely pursuing diplomacy through quiet and private channels. But the larger critique is more important in my view, that the U.S. in general has presided over a status quo that has brought us to this point of the conflict. They have supported Israel even as the Israeli governments, primarily that of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, have pursued policy goals that have actively undermined the two-state solution. That is, the idea of a separate Palestinian state, which is stated U.S. policy, and is pursuing various efforts, including what your colleague Imtiaz Tyab described, to further displace and dispossess Palestinians in East Jerusalem and the West Bank. And this is a status quo that is frankly untenable if you want to see a viable two-state solution. And the U.S. has underwritten that for too long. So while we're seeing right now the Biden administration take presumably a significant role in shepherding the ceasefire after days of violence, the much larger and thorny conundrum of figuring out how to reconcile these sides and really bring back a peace process into motion is still out there.
We have not seen this level of violence between Israel and Hamas since the 2014 Gaza war. Remind us of the time frame. How long did it take to reach a ceasefire agreement then?
Well, that was a conflict that lasted mostly, 4 weeks or so. And there were sort of a number of false dawns and false ceasefires. But eventually the peace held, not after hundreds died, more than 2,000 died, I believe, on the Palestinian side, billions of dollars of damage in Gaza. Israel at the time claimed that it had, effectively crippled Hamas. Of course, in the years since, we found that not to be true. And so the seeds were set for this dynamic to flare again. It is very important not to simply bracket Israeli-Palestinian hostilities in this frame of Hamas versus Israel. Hamas is a militant faction that happens to be in power in Gaza, but it doesn't represent all Palestinians. Not everyone living in Gaza, which is a crammed, one of the most dense places on earth, is a member of Hamas. And so it's important also to separate Hamas's militant activities from the aspirations and demands of the Palestinian people.
Well, violence is also surging between Jews and Arabs inside Israel. How is this conflict manifesting within Israel's borders?
This is a somewhat worrying development. You didn't really see this happening in 2014. You didn't really see this happening in 2018 when there were massive protests in Gaza that saw Israeli soldiers firing across the border. But yes, 20% of Israel's population within its 1948 borders is Israeli Arab or Palestinian citizens of Israel. And violence has flared there. You've seen rival kind of gangs of vigilantes attack Jewish or Arab establishments, attack bystanders. And then this, of course, is a sign also of a real lingering disquiet within Israel and a sense among Palestinian citizens of Israel that, beyond, of course, their brethren in Gaza or in the West Bank, they too exist in a regime that is a bit discriminatory towards them, that doesn't confer on them the same kind of status that it does Jewish Israelis. And we're seeing so far in the way that Israeli authorities have handled this violence, that so far of all the arrests made, they've all been of Palestinian citizens of Israel. And even though we know for a fact that there's been plenty of violence carried out by extremist right-wing Jewish mobs.
Right, a number of troubling developments in that troubled region. Ishaan Tharoor, thanks very much for your insight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.